Okay, so I just rushed home from my therapy appointment, and I'm like, I have so many like feelings and thoughts. One, you know the therapy session was good when the saliva in your throat starts tasting different. I feel like there's very few times where like the saliva. Okay. I feel like there's very few times where like the saliva in your throat just starts tasting different. Like minus when you're, I feel like the only time that happens is when you're like under the influence or you're doing drugs or you're doing something for the very first time. Like it's very, very seldom that you're, or having sex, that your saliva just starts to taste different. So I was in my therapy session, and basically what my therapist told me, she was like, sometimes the why in your life, like the why for everything comes after the settling of your nervous system. And that was very, very refreshing for somebody who, one, deals with intrusive thoughts all day and tries to literally come up with the answer for every small thing that's ever happened to them in their life. Like people who have issues with intrusive thoughts, like it's a never ending story. It's never ending because one, after you learn to start to listen to yourself as a woman, you forget that you are supposed to rely on your intuition, like your body. And for somebody who has an impaired nervous system like myself, I think I've been impaired for, my nervous system has been out of whack for the last few years. So for somebody who has literally stopped listening to their body and only listen to thoughts, this is such a sign of relief because it's just like, I don't have to have the answers. I don't have to have the answers to life. I think a lot of the times, and this is like for me, I relied on words because when I grew up in my household, especially dealing with two emotionally unavailable and emotionally immature parents, I've learned to disregard all types of feelings. And I've only learned to listen to words. So I take words super, super serious when in actuality, we all know words are bullshit. Excuse my language. We know words are bullshit. So that was just a sigh of relief to a lot of the things that like I deal with on a regular basis, because the best way personally for me to explain intrusive thoughts are, I have about 10,000 thoughts that come to my head every day, right? Let's just picture a web, right? Remember those little webs that we used to draw in school to make the paragraphs, and this was the main point, and then you had the legs that just like were extra points. So I had these 10,000 thoughts, right? And they're all coming in, first off, they're different fonts, they're different texts, they got different textures, they are different sizes, they're just everywhere. And I'm trying to find that one master thought that, what's the word called? That trumps it all. And I'm not going to get one. I'm never going to get it. So if you rely on your intrusive thoughts to get you somewhere, or you have an impaired nervous system and you don't feel comfortable, the only way that you're going to feel good about yourself is just to know that like you're not going to have the answer right now until you soothe that nervous system. Okay? You have to soothe that nervous system. And like, I don't want you guys to think that I'm like giving you guys advice, because I'm really talking to myself. Like, I'm really talking to myself, and you guys just happen to hear it. You're going to hear it. So it feels good to know that, one, a lot of the time your power relies in doing less. Doing less, thinking less, just being in tune with yourself and not being so in tune with the outside world. Because if your nervous system is impaired like mine, you learn to rely on external to make yourself feel better. And that shows up in a lot of ways. Addiction. Addiction to all things. I think sometimes when we say addiction, we think about drugs. But I'm talking about addiction to pain, addiction to feeling unsafe. And yeah, I'm just going to pause the video right here because I don't know if you guys are even going to get this far in this video, but I hope you do. Because I know there's people like me out there that just deal with so many all day. And I just want to let you know that it doesn't matter. Those thoughts don't matter.